My name is Kendall, and I'm an intern at Metaspace 511 here at the Mukwonago Community Library. For today's Kids Who Code activity, we are going to be doing NASA Space Jam. So let's go make some music in space. The first step of our code is to create the background for our Space Jam. So let's look at this setup block. Every time that the code runs, the setup block will start. So I want to put create background into that block. You can go through and use the drop-down to select which background you want. I'm going to choose this one. Now, nothing's going to happen yet when you start the program. You need to put draw background in this loop block. A loop is something that occurs over and over and over again. And in this case, we are going to have the background just continuously be there. It's never going to stop. So now, let's press run and look at our background. I like mine. If you want to change it, you can click keep playing, or we can continue to step 2. For step 2, we're going to be doing something very similar. So now that we have the background, we have a new block that says create star, and it also gives us a size. So we're going to do the same thing that we just did. Drag create star into the setup block. You can change the picture. I'm going to do this blue star, and you can change its size. Then of course, it's not going to do anything until we put draw star into our loop, just like we did with the background. So let's drag that in there, and now we can press run and look at our star. I like my star, but I think I want it to be a little bit bigger, so I'm going to click keep playing, and let's try 100. I think that's a little bit better. You can always continue to click keep playing if you want to keep changing your size. Otherwise, you can go up to the top and click on the next step. Step 3 is fun. We get to add our first moving piece. So we created the background, we created the star, and now we're going to create a planet. I'll get to what all of these things mean in just a second with our new block that says create planet. So let's take that block and put it under setup. Before we change those settings, what do we need to do that we did with every other thing we created so far? Draw planet. You want to make sure that the blocks in this loop are in the right order. Background, then star, then planet. So let's go back to our create planet block. This empty box is where you can select the color of your planet. I'll do blue. The size is the size. Period is how far away from the star your planet is going to be. Your planet is going to be orbiting your sun or star, like the sun. So what you want to do is choose a period based on how far away you want it. So I'm going to keep mine at 1. The angle shows you where the planet is going to start when the program starts. I'm going to choose 90, and let's see what that looks like. So you can see that my planet is going 1 period length, and it starts at the top. Let's change our period to 2, and change the angle to 180. This is how it's going to look different. Now, the orbit is a lot bigger, and it starts at a different spot. So you can mess with this until you like it. Otherwise, let's go to step number 4. Step 4 is an addition to the last one. Now instead of creating one planet, we're going to create multiple. So when you have the create planet block and you drag it into the setup, you can drag as many blocks as you want, and that's how many planets are going to be created. I'm going to try 3. So you want to choose all of your colors first, and then the size is up to you. I'm going to make each one bigger than the last. And then the period will determine if they're going on the same path or not. So I'm going to put 2 of them on the same path, but then put one of them a little bit further away. And then I'm going to start them in different places. You can change any of this to however you want. You don't have to do exactly what I do. And then of course, we can't forget to put our draw all planet block into the loop. So this will take care of all of these planets we just created. Let's click run and see what happens. Wow, I think that looks really cool. And you can add as many planets as you want. I'm going to continue to step 5. Now we're going to add some sound to our code. So you might notice that the create planet block now has the option for you to add more blocks inside of it. That's why there's this little bracket right here. So that means that we can add this blue block that says set planet drum. So if we put that inside of our planet, now an additional part of creating our planet is that it gets assigned a drum to play. So I'm going to keep it as the kick drum. So when do we want it to play the noise that the drum is? If you go to the loop, we still have that if planet crosses string loop if statement. So we can put play planet drum in there with pluck string. So now when the string is plucked, then it'll play the drum that the planet is assigned to. And you can assign it to all the planets that you make. So let's look at how this works. So you can hear that when it crosses a string, it plays a sound. Another thing about this is that if you make the size bigger, it'll change the sound or the volume of the drum. So now, it's a lot louder. So you can mess with that. But let's look at the next step and see what else we end up adding. Now, we get to choose the note that plays when the planet crosses the string. So even if you don't know what all the notes are or what they all sound like, this is still fun to mess around with. So we have 2 different options here. First, we have set planet note. So you can choose any of these notes here. The number next to the note means that it's going to be either higher or lower than the other notes. So C3 is going to be higher than C4. So you can mess around with what those sound like. So before we test it out, we of course have to do our play planet note, like we did for everything else. And we're also going to put it in an if statement because we want it to happen when we pluck the string. So we have our string, and we have our planet with our note, and we put it in the loop. Let's see what happens. So you can hear that that note plays every time it crosses the string. So you might be wondering what this other block means. This block selects a variety of notes from one scale. A scale is a group of notes that goes together. So if I want to do a major C scale, let's see what this sounds like. So that picks a note from that scale and plays it. So this can be really fun to mess around with, and I think you could spend a lot of time on this step if you want to. However, the next step is where it gets really fun and you can try anything you want. So let's go. So now, we get to make our own customizable code. All of the blocks that we've used are all here, and everything still works the same. So now, basically what you get to do is add as many planets as you want, add the planets as drums, or add them as notes, and then put it all together. I'm going to go try to experiment, and I'll show you what I make. Here's what I made. I hope you guys enjoyed this week's Kazoo Code. I think it was super fun making music together, in space. I really want to see what you guys did, and I'm sure it sounds awesome. As always, you can ask questions by emailing us, and I can respond to the email or I can respond in the next video. So I hope you guys had fun, and I'll see you next time. Bye!